I am muted. I apologize for that. What's up, everybody? How are you? It's your boy Bill Foster checking in. Uh, Happy Monday. We got Dr. Marilyn Quarter coming in. I'm going to bring her in real quick. I know she's doing some stuff in the background. I see you, Doc, but go ahead, get situated. I'm going to
Okay.
throw some little public service announcements and stuff like that, and then
Okay.
I'll let you come on in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, everybody, this is Bill Foster. This is Real Talk Chronicles. This is Real Talk with Dr. Marilyn Quarter, and that's my cousin. I love to say that. Always got to stay strong with the family. Trying to get my glasses ready because I know you guys got questions and comments and stuff. Last month we missed Dr. Quarter. She had some technical issues with her phone. We'll laugh about that. That's a family joke. But the thing is, she was fine. We was glad that she was okay. Um, you know, as we are people, family. When somebody doesn't text you back or get back to you, you start worrying, and then come to find out it's just some little minuscule thing that's all good. Um, Real Talk is sponsored by Daily Arts of Survival magazine. It's also sponsored by Soft Illusions Art Gallery, Reggie Wells Quality Speakers. It's also sponsored by Ingram Taxes. Taxes can stress you out. I don't know what the doctor wants to talk about tonight, but I tell you one thing. We talk about stress. That's one thing that could definitely stress your ass out. Some taxes. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Hey, Stefania, how are you? Mark, what's up, Corey? My man, Corey. Happy belated birthday to you, brother. I shouted you out, my man. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. This is Real Talk Chronicles. This is the podcast. It keeps it real. 100. Every time we speak, we keep it real. It's also sponsored by Melba Wilson, Melba's Restaurant. Also sponsored by Leon Ellis Chocolat Restaurant and his clothing line, Harlem on the Ground, and Reggie Wells Quality Speakers. You can get the speakers go for $85. But if you mention Real Talk, hey, you get them for $75. With that and saying all of that, I hope all of you are having a beautiful Monday. Can you believe I put a little post up today about it's August already? We're talking about September. Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about Happy Halloween and Happy New Year. So, it was a joke, but listen, it's a joke that's damn near true. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. And without further ado, got to bring in the doctor and see how she's doing. And I hope everything is good on your end. Dr. Quarter, let me unmute you. How are you, cuz? What's good?
Hey, hello. I missed you guys. We are all good here in the DMV. Washington, D.C. is where I'm sitting right now in my office. My God, why does all my patients, 80% of them, wait till the last 6 weeks before school starts to call and say they need an appointment?
Yeah.
I'm working sun up, sun down. I got forms everywhere. I am like, what? I tell them every year. I've been in practice 40 years, not for 40. And I'm into the next generation. They still don't listen. And what DC did, DC is like, no shots, no school. So they ringing my phone. My patients, my staff is like, their patients are gone. They're like, oh my God, no shot.
What shots are they asking for?
Let's talk about today's topic is school readiness from that pre-K to that go away to college. What we're doing, what we should be doing, what we need to know what to do. Mm-hmm. And they wait till, like I said, wait till the last minute. We're stretching it. So I'm like overwhelmed, but I can't wait till this month is over. But we overspilled into we're into September trying to get the school physicals and shots, the regular shots, the measles shots, the regular shots, the tetanus, the go away to college, the meningitis shots. So that's what's going on right now. I missed you guys again. So you could ask, I'm going to just talk some basic stuff, but bottom line, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm going to also say this, and this is my frustration. I texted you and I kind of was teasing. We're the number one city for monkey virus. You know that? DC.
I didn't know that. I because I see New York right now is
we're running neck and neck. Right.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me about it. I mean,
no. And let's be real, cuz let's tell them the truth. Like first and foremost, everybody out there, the doctor is still an acting professional. The bottom line is some things she can say and some things she can't say. I don't know. The bottom line is when my cuz hit me up earlier and she was just like, I don't even really know if we can really rap about this. Maybe there's too much information that's not solidified where we can really discuss this situation, because they got this talking about gay people. They got this monkeypox going all over the place. And I don't know. And then listen, if I don't know, she sure damn don't know. Yeah, I mean, if she don't know, I don't know. Let me change that back around the other way. But the one thing that we can say is that, and I'll ask you this, Doc, just for some clarification, it's not killing anybody, right? Is it, to that knowledge?
Correct. It's not like HIV. It's not killing anybody. Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, like I said, everybody out there, I know you might have some questions. I don't know. In real talk, I can't tell you what to ask, but the one thing is the doc has the right to say what she can say and what she can't say. And she's been with this. Listen, I just got a post. You know how you get a reminder or something in your past. Listen, we've been doing. Doc has been here already a year, speaking the truth to you all. So this is. I already got a flyer. It just said, how you get you on this date. It said, it brings up your memories. So listen, Real Talk has been going strong right now, and the doc is on her anniversary. I got to find the exact date when she came in, but it just showed the flyer for the Dr. Quarter coming in. So shout out to everybody chiming in. This is Real Talk. You got a question for the doctor? If she can answer it, she'll answer it. If she can't, respect her professional position. That means she may not be able to answer it. But if it's a question about anything else, please feel free to chime in, because the bottom line is she's still an practicing doctor. So the bottom line is she has credentials that she can't jeopardize. So don't ask her about this and don't ask her about that. Ask me. I'll tell you some shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They talk about monkeypox started, and I saw a clip. They talk about monkeypox started in Africa. Everything got to always go back to Africa. Why can't it start somewhere in New Zealand or some shit? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So whatever. I'm not.
It's always they point always Africa, but syphilis started in the UK. There's there are some conditions that are deadly that did not start in Africa. But I started by saying I don't know a lot about it. It's still rolling out. I know that they're trying to do the vaccine. I know that they now have said, and this disturbed me, that instead of whatever that dose was going to be, here we go, another vaccine. They're splitting it in fifths. So whatever that vial was is now going to be, instead of one vaccine, it's going to be enough for 5 people. That's kind of scary. They are doing centers here in the DC area for those who are quote unquote high risk for the vaccine. I am just not going to talk about much of it because, again, it has changed. They're saying it's going to be a lot of folks with this monkeypox, that similarly looks like almost like chicken pox. And then they may use a vaccine that they did for smallpox. So it's pox, and I don't know. And all I can say is lots of questions. No one has died. I think it's more bothersome than anything, but it is spread in the skin to skin. So that's pretty much my wrap up on monkeypox.
Yeah. And I know you said that Stefania asked a question. I'm going to read it. It's up to you to answer it if you want to or you're not, because you have the right to say what you want to say.
And that's my buddy, so I'm going to try.
Yeah. She said, is it a venereal disease?
No. Good question. No. So if somebody has monkeypox, the lesions on their hand, and they place it and they touch somebody else, they can get it. There's a woman in Atlanta, a cashier, who got monkeypox from the money she was counting in her drawer. So it's not a STI. It's not a sexually transmitted disease. Of course, if you are skin to skin, and you got to be skin to skin if you're having sex, but it's not a sexually contact condition. So very good question. So you don't need to be having sex to get it, and that's what's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So it's not respiratory. It's more hand to hand, or skin to skin. Let me just say skin to skin. A lot of people have it on their hands because often we still offering our hands, and I thought we were offering our elbows. Y'all better stop offering.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny, because and maybe we can segue into this. I know we want to talk about some school stuff, and I'm shouting out everybody just chime in, excuse me. But let's talk about what this can do, stress and anxiety, how this can affect a lot of us. Because you know what's so funny? People won't sit home. People send me a bunch and thank you for all my side investigators. I'm gonna call y'all in a nice way to send me information about so many different things. But the bottom line is, this is another variant out here that has people on their heels, and there's something to stress you out about. Maybe what can stress lead to? You know what I'm saying? Are there the steps to stress and anxiety that can lead to heart attack, illnesses? Maybe you might want to have to segue into that aspect of we want to talk about, and also back to school situations too. Go ahead.
Well, a lot of kids don't want to go back to school. Either they haven't been or they don't want to go. They've had COVID once or twice. They're afraid. I know in this area we still have shootings. We're in the city. So they're talk about stress. They're like, oh, no. I spoke to a parent just yesterday, actually on a Sunday, and she said, my child does not want to go back to college. He goes to college. I won't name the college, but it's in Atlanta. He doesn't want to go. He said they don't have the housing, and he'd have to live in off-campus housing, and that's in Atlanta, and he just won't be able to focus. And he's begging his mom, who's already paid, his parents paid the tuition. He's begging, I can't go. And they're trying to make arrangement for distant learning. And of course, we know how distance learning is good for a few, but often is not good for a lot. So we are seeing a large percentage of children, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. Now, we always see stress in teenagers, but now we're seeing it to the nth degree for that age group as well as much younger. They can't sleep. They're not eating. They're hyper. They not doing their work. They're afraid. They see us afraid. And when you see the parents with concern on their face and grandparents, from financial woes to safety concerns, to medical concerns, people are still dying from COVID. I have a cousin, as a matter of fact, our cousin, cousin Gloria, she transitioned from COVID. She was in a nursing home. She had Parkinsonism. So yeah, she was in her 80s, but COVID is what took her out. So, we're still seeing that, and we put it on the back burner, but we still need to understand that back burner is still hot, and we're still suffering, and we're still getting it. So stay on your immune boost, whatever you're taking, with your vitamin D, etc. Still wear your mask. I just took my mask off just to do the show because I'm here by myself in the office, but I'm wearing this every day. And this is my, and I've offered it, but this is my KN95.
Mm-hmm.
So it's real. And all these variants, and we're about to go into flu season. You're right. Back to school time is here. But as you talk about Halloween and the fall, that's flu season. So we're not going to know what's up. We won't know if it's COVID. We won't know if it's flu. We won't know if it's allergies. We won't know. And that's frustrating to many of us on the front line because we don't know. We're still testing. You still should test. But many of those positive tests that people do in their home or in the different programs is not being reported properly for the health department to really keep track. So when they say whatever number they say it is, multiply that by 10. And don't trust. Look, I just tell folks, practice UP, universal precaution. Everybody got it. Okay, if anything, you're gonna say, look, I suspect you're on the metro, you're on the subway, you on all that, y'all got it, and I don't want to be in your face, keep your distance, etc. So that's my take.
So basically, we just pointing fingers right now at this stage in the game. It's what's so funny because, and I'll say this, I'm gonna say this as a cousin, but then then want you to give it back to me as a doctor. People are talking about. You'd be like, "Yo, how you doing?" Oh, I got COVID. Like they got a cold now. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So, are we desensitizing what really COVID is now to this point? Because now we got monkeypox and we probably got some other shit coming down the road that we can get for Christmas. It's a Christmas gift that we don't want, a Thanksgiving gift that we want. Because the bottom line is everybody wants to get reacclimated into the society. Some do, some don't. Some people, content of working from home and want to stay there. But the powers that be are like, yo, get back out there, because the economy is a whole nother issue. And with that and gut prices, we can't even talk about Russia. We only here for an hour. You and I could talk about a whole lot of other stuff. About the thing, and people don't get it twisted. That lady right there, Dr. Quarter, get it in on some other conversations. You got to check her out on her show. But right now, she comes. She's always going to be Dr. Quarter, but I would love one day if we ever flip the conversation and get her thoughts. You're gonna be like, right on, sister, because she get it in. That's my cuz on that aspect. This family, from the matriarch to this family, the Forsters, they don't they bring the smoke. I say all that to say that I think, like, even me, like, I'm doing some promotional stuff again. So, we got the brunch party, the third Saturday of the month. And, people somewhere, Malika and I was, we was around people this weekend. It was good. I forgot where Malika and I was, but, she was like, yo, mask up, mask up, mask up. And I'm looking at her, and I full transparency, real talk. I told Malika, I said, I honestly think if it wasn't for you, that I probably would be sick and God forbid, be damn near on the deathbed, because the bottom line is he is the person that's going to push that button. Wear your mask, wear your mask, wear your mask. Where I'm going to be like, not that I'm invincible, but the bottom line is I'm going to take that risk. Shame on me. But the thing is, there are people out here that still today that's not vaccinated. And now that we're talking about another vaccine on monkeypox. Now, I know you don't want to talk about monkeypox, but as somebody said, is that equivalent to smallpox? Do you know anything about that?
Well, it's in the pox family. There are different viruses, and because we group them in terms of families, and the pox is family, like chicken pox. We're talking about what we call like a blister type of crops of bumps in terms of a rash. So it's like smallpox. It's like, which we have eradicated. And it's like chicken pox that some people probably don't even have never seen in the field of medicine, because we have gotten vaccinated against that. Some people get shingles still, down the road in their 50s and 60s for having chicken pox that stayed in your body. We don't really know. And I'm going to say this, because this is still new. We, AMA, CDC, etc., what the extent of monkeypox is. And how there's vaccination, they say, but even if you don't get vaccinated, if you get it, what the questions I have is, if you get monkeypox, okay, you got monkeypox, what happens? It will resolve from what they're saying, but what happens to your body? Where does it leave you? Because we are still looking at long COVID, LONG, long COVID. For those who have gotten COVID, there are things there. We're now studying it up to 18 months, and we're seeing, and I keep saying, we're seeing liver damage, permanent. Many people 10 times more than other conditions. Anyone who's had COVID, the infection, you're seeing a high percentage of them eventually going on dialysis, because COVID is relentless when it comes to your kidneys, as well as even with your lungs. You'll hear people say, well, he had COVID, and he never shook that lung condition or whatever was happening. So I like as much natural things, I know I'm a physician, but it's not all vaccination. There's other things that you have to protect yourself from getting it. Number one, as you have it, they have the Paxlovid, but there are other immune boosting natural things that you can take. I will say all of that, and ginger and elderberry and vitamin D and zinc. And again, I do immune boost by a company that every day I'm taking it, because like I said, I look at these well babies coming in my office, because we're just trying to do well and do telehealth for sick. Right. But then I get a call back every so often saying, well, baby was in your office, but 2 days later, the daycare said everybody in that daycare has been exposed to COVID. So trust no one. Everyone, like I said, everyone could be a COVID carrier.
So like Cheryl said, and shout out to everybody chiming in, because I know all of you have thoughts and questions and comments about this. the one thing, and like I said, I'm going to speak. Um, the doctor right now, as professional and as world renowned as she is, a lot of things she doesn't want to just speak out of turn. I think you see how she can converse about COVID. The monkeypox is some shit that's really out here. And excuse my French, I just want to keep it real 100 with you guys. It's all over the place. And before she speaks on it, to put her credentials on it, like anything from me, when I speak from a law enforcement standpoint, I don't want to put my credentials on it unless I can Monday morning quarterback it the way I can. So I say all that and say that we'll posture these conversations in lieu of monkeypox. You can go back to COVID because it's a damn near it's a cousin of monkeypox some way somehow. And like Cheryl said, I'm gonna ask you this question, Doc, and maybe you can give your professional opinion on this. Cheryl says, I don't think COVID is going anywhere, just like the flu. Do you think it's here to stay?
Yes. It's sad. I do. I feel it is here to stay. And the big question is, how ready is your body when you are exposed to COVID? Now, you have some people have no symptoms at all. They just happen to have taken that test and they're positive, but they are asymptomatic. So what does that tell you? Lots of folks are walking around with COVID. They don't know. I think it's here to stay. There's so many variants that's rolling out. And you made a good point earlier. You said now it's like a matter of fact. Oh, by the way, I got COVID. Versus 2.5 years ago, it was like a death sentence. And we were seeing all the TV and vaccine. I think that basic vaccination a lot of people got did help. How often and when we have to get the vaccine again, I don't know. I know everyone's about tired of the vaccinations, the booster, this booster, that booster, but we know it has some value to it. And we didn't grow an extra ear or extra leg and getting it. But again, we don't know and what the natural mutation is going to be with COVID, just like with the flu. What I want to also mention while I am talking about, there are lots of plane rides and conventions and people, weddings and funerals. Those are your super spreading events. If you don't need to go, don't go. If you just send your condolences by, have package being dropped off or you zooming in and out, because we get too lax and we get too emotional and we love our loved ones, be it dead or alive. And, we just put our guard down. And again, going back to school, some people are now investing in homeschool and the children are just lost. I know here in the district, in this area, we probably have never seen such a gap in education for folks who may have been first, second grade, and now they're going to school for the first time, and they're third graders, and it's like, what does that look like? And the frustration. Going back, I'm all over the place, but vote,
No.
and vote. Primary, the vote is important.
I wanted to ask you a question about schooling, because you said something that's very important. How worried are the medical world about school, about people spreading viruses and germs right now more than ever than before things? I don't know if people even cared back then when you were younger, but it's a different thing now. How worried are the medical field about people spreading germs, COVID, anything going back to school?
We're so worried that we now, there are different classes. Like, so let's say if you're in preschool and you 3 and 4 year olds, they're not going to mask. They're masked a little bit, but they're not going to do all the precautions. So when you have one child with COVID, then or two, expect another 10. So they do the emails, they do the testing. They ask the parents to bring, a note when they're cleared and they're asymptomatic. I'm not sure about all the quarantining. Now it's 5 days. It used to be 10 days. So now it's 5 days. Get your butt back in school, and they'll tell you, okay, well, so this is the things we worry about. The procedure or the protocol is you positive for COVID. You may have a sniffle. You may have a little cough. That goes away. You no longer have a fever. 5 days you quarantine. But guess what? They tell you don't need to retest because you still might be positive for COVID, but the infectiousness or the infectiousness of it, contagiousness of it has minimized, has gone. That scares me. You ask me how worried, that scares me. the nursing homes are still one of the hotbeds of it, and daycare. So it's like the elderly and this young people. Now we have the vaccine 6 months on up, 6 months of age are now getting the vaccines. I have half of my patients are doing that for their toddlers and on up. I trust that that will make a difference in that age group in terms of how it has been spreading or how those children are now able to be protected from COVID. But,
Right.
you know, a lot of conversation. Um, one person, I remember we were talking, and sometimes you just got to joke and not cry. Somebody said they were talking to a friend of theirs, and they said, okay, what's next? And they said, well, we got to just look in the last days, the final days, and see what's the next devastation.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
from the floods, we have 100 degrees right now, global warming. I mean, we're just turned upside down. It's almost like God is upset and he's shaking this, like when them globes you get, and
Oh,
anything and everything. And it's like, oh my goodness.
listen,
So,
from the violence that's going around, and that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, we got a half an hour. I mean, from the mental illness to the larceny to the people not chastising their children that's going out, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. Cheryl said 5 days isn't enough because everyone endures it differently. Even Darylyn from YouTube, she says, I don't believe that either. 5 days is not enough.
right.
So I mean, like I said, people going back to work and school with COVID, you know, people are taking the home test, people are popping the other tests, and they were like, okay, well, I can do this, I can do that. Like I said, right now, COVID is it's almost now, it's like a joke. And people taking it as a cold. People forget about all the people that may have transitioned and, you know, for reasons, you know, due to COVID or equated with COVID. I mean, I guess I can't stress it enough and you can't stress it enough, but I think people really right now are just, you know, they want to get back to the normalcy of just, oh, I was doing what I wanted to do. I was at the party, I was at the bar. You know, I'll tell you one, all you marijuana smokers, I bet you ain't still passing no damn blunts with sharing that spit, that saliva on that joint. Everybody come with your own joint right now. You know what I'm saying? Your own little reefer. You know what I mean? I'm showing my age. I don't know. I don't smoke, so I don't know what it's called, a blunt, reefer, marijuana. I don't know what it is, but I bet you ain't nobody sharing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, when you rapping it or whatever, it needs to say "Welcome to COVID." Okay.
Listen, hey, Doc, we come from a place, right? There's no more sharing. Let me get a sip. Those days is over.
So can I dovetail on that? That's where I'm concerned with folks going away to college.
Right.
You know, the dorm room may have 5 or 6 people, or then they're drinking, get a sip, etc. They drinking behind each other. They're smoking behind each other. They're close quarters, not to mention having sex. And that's where over the past, well, before COVID, we saw meningitis. We saw different things that would break out when you have close quarters, like either the military or on campus. So now we're seeing COVID. We're seeing not only we're seeing different infections, and I'm concerned about the monkeypox. Who knows? So you need to tell your family, your relatives, your children, just, you know, I won't say be a hermit, but be protected. Take that Lysol, take those gloves. You can't hug up on anybody. Wear your mask and just tell them. I told them to blame it on their doctor. Their doctor's fanatical, but their doctor respects and want to see them the next semester and the next semester alive. So blame it on me.
Blame it on the doc.
Right.
And let me just put full transparency out there, everybody. This is where I protect my cousin, who is a doctor, but she's here to school and let the village know about a lot of things from a woman of color, from a professional, and she gives back. She's been giving back from her side. I've been giving back to my side, and we've formed Voltron to give back to you. But with that being said, we're not going to go too far into monkeypox because there are ramifications, maybe due to her profession, that she doesn't want to speak on without jeopardizing who she is. The bottom line is we don't want her to do that. I'm not going to let her do that, and she's not going to do that because she's bossier than me. So trust me, with that being said, but trust me, when she has full knowledge, because of the professional that she is, she will speak on in detail monkeypox. Right now, she could just tell you what she has already reiterated. Wash your hands, stay away from people. Listen, that all that love tapping and dapping, we're gonna have to fall back on that. Don't stop coming to the brunch party, but wear your mask. That's what it is. Just be careful. Did I say that well?
Yes, you did. Yes,
okay.
yes, you did. And you know, just be very careful, because it is skin to skin transmitted, and close proximity. Well, skin to skin. I'll just say skin to skin. So if you see somebody, look, everybody's looking at people like they got bumps.
Yeah.
They're looking at their skin. I feel bad for those who just have what we call dermatitis, eczema, because everything is now, oh, they got monkeypox. So, but you know, when in doubt, make sure you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, because and I'm going to say this. This is what I'm going to say. We see the masses, as they say, they can always start throwing it on different relationships, people of color, cities and countries, until it's proven. You know what I'm saying? Who put it there? Who brought it there? You know, that's the same thing. Are we reinventing AIDS and we just calling it monkeypox? You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying this, not the doctor. I'm saying this because the bottom line is people always got a way to put titles on shit and then want to put it in on certain genres and gentrifications and areas of life and things like that. Listen, just cover up, be careful. You know who you're around. And even the people that you're around, you don't even know about them. Because the bottom line is, listen, people could tell you, listen, every other day, sometime Malika and I can speak to somebody and say they had COVID, they got COVID right now. They're going to get COVID tomorrow, so they won't see you next week. You know what I'm saying? People using COVID as an excuse, like, for a trip. Like, yo, listen, you coming to work? No, I'm going to have COVID next week. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they're going to be around a whole bunch of people. So the bottom line is we can talk about this COVID, but this monkeypox stuff, it's unbeknown to us. And just be caution. Now, doctor, let me ask you this. That way we can keep it 100. Let's just talk about germs. How about that? Germs in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, germs are germs, right? Like, let's go back to the way our parents brought us up. Because the one thing I can say this, and I can speak for the doctor and myself, our parents, wash your hands, do that. There was no coming to the table without washing your hands. There wasn't touching everything, trains and buses and things like that. Don't come in the house. Listen, old school, if you got our age, our tenure, when you came in the house, you had to wash your hands.
That's right.
Before you touch anything, wash your hands. And if they want to double up on you, like throwing some craps, wash your face too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, Doc, I know you multitasking, but just elaborate on how germs, period, can we stop that spread?
You know, it's interesting, and I tease my patients, especially those patients who are too old to be sucking their thumbs, sucking it, their fingers, etc. And I tell them, years ago, we were cleaner, but now so much dirt. I said, every time you touch a doorknob, think of whoever just came out of the bathroom, no matter what doorknob, and they didn't wash their hands, and they did a number 2. So you're touching fecal material and you licking up on it because it's going in your mouth. Not now that's regular old E. coli germs. That's regular old different viruses, flu, the adenovirus, etc. Now we have the new germs. We have, as I said that to you, the woman who was a cashier, or who is still a cashier, she's alive, and she got monkeypox. She was counting money. Somebody's hands was on that. Wear gloves. I could see if my loved ones worked in the cashier or handling money or somebody's handling everything, because I'm wiping down all the time. We're gloving up, we're masking up. But if you're touching what everybody else is touching, that's you high risk for getting exposed to any and all germs. And that's why I'm gonna go back to daycare. They changing diapers. There maybe whoever the diaper changing person needs to make sure they wipe down that surface for the next child and the next child and the next child. We get rushed, but we have to do that. Daycare for babies is like also nursing homes for grown-ups. So this is why you have the ends of the spectrum in terms of germs. Not to mention the staff, both the staff at daycare and the staff at the senior citizen daycare in terms of nursing homes. They go from one patient to another. They have to, outside the doors, I know in all the hospitals, outside the doors, we have the hand sanitizer.
Right.
Hand gloving, you're doing whatever. And that's it. You have to keep that up. We get tired of it, yes, but you have to keep that up, because when you're laxed in that protocol, that next person could be the victim of whatever bacteria and viruses. Germs are germs. We just did a memorial service for a young lady who died of viral meningitis. Now, that's not even a vaccine for that. She was down at LSU 3 years ago. She was a freshman. She had been on campus 33 days. While there, she was in contact with someone who had meningitis and started complaining of a headache. She went to the infirmary, I call it the quick fix, whatever, Band-Aid campus. And I don't know what they ended up telling her. I guess go home and, Tylenol or what have you. But within 2 days, her roommate couldn't wake her up. She was dead. And so brand new going down. So we have to make sure, as I told my patients, and I was on my show on Saturday, parents, if ever there's a time that you tell your child who may not call you or ignore your texts, they better listen. They better be in communication, because all the anxiety and stress on this end after sending your child 500 miles or 1,000 miles away adds up, hypertension, stroke, etc., from the parents and grandparents. And then the child herself or himself needs to make sure that they telling, we okay, I'm okay. There should be a code, there should be something that we know the child's okay, as opposed to finding that child dead in her dorm room.
Doc, can you do me a favor, and for my own edification, can you elaborate exactly what viral meningitis is, please, for the people?
Yes. So there's something called bacterial meningitis that we do vaccinate. Meningitis B, we call the MenB vaccine, and then the other strands of meningitis. Now, meningitis comes in two types: bacteria, which is treatable by IV antibiotics and preventable by vaccination. Viral meningitis is a virus, sometimes can be deadly, that you begin to have what we call inflammation of the meninges, which is in medicine, the meninges are the actual covering of, and it's it's a clear covering of your brain. So if ever anyone's ever done an autopsy or watched those little shows, there's a covering. It looks like with saran wrap, okay? And it covers, it kind of keeps things in check. So I'm gonna be the Frankenstein now. So you got your brain and you have the covering of your brain. Well, viral meningitis, that can come from close contact. It can come from nasal contact, etc. Can attack your brain. Some of my patients who've had viral meningitis over the years, sometimes what ends up happening, they may be forgetful. For those that survived, may be forgetful. Sometimes their hearing may be a little damaged as a result, almost like long COVID. But we do hear of some children, some teenagers, young people succumbing and dying from meningitis. So that's the word of the day in terms of meningitis. And it's who knows who's going to be prone? Who knows? Treat your headaches respectfully. If someone has a headache, don't just say here's Motrin or Tylenol. Find out why they have a headache, especially those who don't have a diagnosis of migraines. There's some kids and young people and old people, they just have headaches. Their vision, they may need an update on their glasses because they can't see as well anymore. They've been looking at that computer too long. But, like I said, treat it respectfully and respect it, because that is a sign of meningitis. A stiff neck, a headache, a fever, lethargy, all of that.
Let me just give a public service announcement. Shout out to everybody that's watching. If you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe to it if you haven't. If you're watching from Facebook, please share it. Shout out to all the new watchers, the new listeners, whomever you are. I appreciate it. That's Dr. Marilyn Quarter. This is Real Talk with Dr. Quarter. She's in the DMV area. She's a world-renowned doctor, and I'm blessed to have her as my cousin too. So I get to brag about her along with the accolades that I can share that it's already out there for you. And of course with her husband. Shout out to my cousin Fred too. You know, we come from all of her children. There's a family of learned doctors. You know what I'm saying? All over. So I say all that to say, Darylyn also said from YouTube, she says, yeah, do not walk in my house without washing your hands, and definitely don't go into my fridge. That's old school. You get slapped. And listen, we could Black people can kind of claim that, but all ethnicities probably, you know, if you old school, you walk in somebody's house and don't wash your hands, you can catch the hand. Wop, 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 wop. Shout out to Fred is in the building. What's up, big cuz Fred? One day, Doc, you're gonna have to, you and hubby got to come on. I ain't trying to cause no arguments. And Fred, I need your knowledge too, please, because both of you are world-renowned doctors, and I brag about you. I appreciate you both, and you have knowledge. Like I said, when y'all want to talk about law enforcement, y'all come to me. So when I come to the doctor,
right.
I come to you all. And listen, with all the things that's happening, because we can talk about the Breonna Taylor people too. We can talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Guys got locked up for that. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. Hey, finally.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, Stefania, out of love, because you are our RTC love family, I'm gonna read the comment. I'm not gonna ask the doctor to comment on it. I'll comment on it. She says, I don't know, simply because doctors in other countries are classifying it as such. Also, as the news, they primarily reported as an illness that's spread by sex between men. Guess we'll see how it unravels. Listen, I don't know. The bottom line is, I know. Is that attack on the gay community? I have no idea. If you want to blame it on sex with men, what is it going to be? Sex with sex with women? Is it going to be sex? Is it going to be family oriented? I have no idea. I know other countries are saying certain things. Like I said, I'm taking the bull by this horn. The doc is still an acting professional doctor, so there's certain things until she's willing to speak on it, she's not going to speak on it. So please, we're not going to push that envelope. I'll buffer all that. That's what I do. She knows I'm the fighting cuz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but actually, Stefan is right. And no, I can say 99% up until probably 3 weeks ago was in that community of monkeypox. That's what they were saying, and that's where the community. That's where they're. How should I say? The different public health services will say that they are the ones that are the first ones, risk factors to get vaccinated, that they're concentrating on that. But as I also say, just like HIV, started with that, but guess what? Universal precautions, meaning anybody could have monkeypox. A child.
And you know what's so funny, Doc? I'm gonna go down that road just for a second, and I'm not talking about this and that aspect, but then that goes into a whole nother thing. People on the down low, like it goes from a lot of bigger things. So, Stefania, thank you, because cuz answered the question or made a statement. So I say all that to say. So when we go down, open a Pandora's box or go down the rabbit hole, we don't know what we're going to find. And that's going to open up a can of everything. So everybody, I guess the moral of my story, please be careful. Just be careful. Whatever you do, whoever you do it with, wherever you're going. I mean, more than Doc, you can talk about this more than ever. Safe sex is back on the map, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Say, Lord Jesus, yes, it is.
Yeah, just because you old don't mean you still can't bag up. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
right.
I get it. Listen, I'm a man. You talk about, I want to know how. Well, I'm married now, but you talk about, I want to feel it. Listen, for you single dudes out there, you can't feel anything if you sit with your toes up and you're in the casket. You can't feel anything. And ladies, once it's hot and it's burning, nobody want to touch it. So let's knock it off right there with that. You know what I'm trying to say? Listen, Malik always says, I got a mouth of a 10-year-old. Sometimes I just got to keep it raw and real. but that's why it's real talk. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, listen. Oh, Vera said our parents used to regularly give us laxatives. Yeah, Vera with the cuz Vera got the last name of a Foster. She's not a Foster, but she's Foster in love because I always tease her. I appreciate her. She says, and that's true. We used to have to take X-Lax. You remember the X-Lax for you old school people? That chocolate shit. I hated it. My father be like, take that shit. And he tried to give me more than what I was supposed to take. The dosage may have said 1 or 2. That damn man used to try to give me 3 or 4. So you know where I was on a Saturday.
A good cleaning out. But look, it was Castoria in our days. X-Lax was the later on candy bar. It looked like a laxative. Laxative looked like a candy.
And he tried to talk about it's just like Nestle Crunch. No, damn, no, that was no Nestle Crunch. Listen, so like Vera said, she said our parents used to regularly give us laxatives and herbal teas to cleanse our bodies from the inside. Yeah. Oh, remember that? Oh,
yes.
Cod liver oil. Yeah, exactly. Depending on where they were from, they always had a herbal tea for you to drink. The children today are also exposed to more junk food than we were. Exactly. Vera, with the wonderful last name, Forster, you are totally right. And listen, Malika brought me some tea today. She calls it her specialty. I don't know what it is, but I know she got some herbs and spices and ginger and turmeric and all kind of stuff. And Malika, I know you somewhere watching, but listen. And like I said, Buckley, you remember 444 Buckley. Oh my God. What was that? The Little Rascals, don't drink the milk, it's spoiled. Listen, all this cat liver oil, everything.
Cod liver.
Cod liver.
But you know, it's interesting. Cod liver was from, fish oil. And that's your DHEA. That's your brain power. And Vera's correct. There's something called gut health. And many of us have leaky guts. And our gut is inflamed from the junk food. So that cleaning out that our parents once a week or whatever gave us was their way of saying, we know that you may have some blockage or that you need to clean out the pipe. It's like washing dishes, washing your digestive tract. We got away from that. You have folks, and this is a whole nother show. I get folks and I ask them, part of the health history is how often you eliminate. And they'll tell me regular. And I'm like, well, tell me what real regular is. Twice a week. I said, do you eat twice a week? You eat every day, 2 or 3 times. You got to empty that. In the countries, and I'll just say this, the countries that we see minimal to no cancer of the colon are the countries that are third world that don't have processed food, that have natural foods, your nuts, your grains, etc. Number one country in the world with colon cancer is us. Between them red meat, the steaks, the junk, the process, all of that sits in our colon, sits in our gut. So our parents and grandparents had it right. The natural teas, the center, the things that help eliminate, because otherwise you got build up, and the walls of the colon gets irritated. Then you have a polyp. Next thing you know, it turns into cancer. So respect your colon, even though you don't see it. You can't check it like a blood pressure. You can't check it like, your kidneys in terms of what your urine is backed up, but it's sitting there often festering and getting inflamed and cancerous. Very good. Thank you, Vera.
Yeah. And then now people right now, they got happy. We showing our age, everybody. They talking about golden seal. Vera said cod liver oil with milk, mild char oil is far worse. Darylyn said 3666. She also said magnesia and castor oil.
That's it, the castor oil, yes.
Yeah. Y'all didn't went back. My man Curtis, he said 444 Berkeley. Oh my God, everybody having a ball out here. So listen, you're right. Listen, I ain't gonna shout out to Lorraine, kitchen in the building. Listen, I ain't gonna front in a few minutes. I'm gonna have a steak. But listen, Malika's on some plant-based stuff. Doctor, how long does meat stay in your system?
Oh my God. I don't know if Dr. Fred is on. We talk about some things stay in your system, in your gut, because it's not digestible in your gut for months. And it aggravates the wall. That's why there's things like gut health. There are things that I've learned being now in the CBD business, that there's something called marshmallow root. There are things that we didn't learn in medical school. If you learned anything, you learned it from your grandparents, folks who living off the earth. And I need to charge my phone as I see. But
Okay,
But
yeah. Okay. Listen, that's what happened last month.
I
That
know. Uh-oh.
so
I get
everybody,
lost.
give us a second. I'm gonna go through public service announcement because Lord knows I don't want to. And listen, I'm shameless plug, Marilyn, Fred. If you're listening, I have an open slot the last Monday of the month. If you want it, you can have it, and you can come and talk about stuff like that, Fred, or anything. I would love to have 2 doctors during the month to take away a lot of stuff. With that being said, and saying all that, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Dr. Marilyn Quarter. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Dr. Marilyn Quarter. And this is Real Talk Chronicles. Listen, this is the only show that keeps it 100 besides her Village Talk. You know what I'm saying? We go neck and neck on keeping it 100. Shout out to all of you chiming in. We appreciate you all, from YouTube to Facebook. If you like it, share it. Let me tell you something. I tell people all the time, the hardest thing to share is positivity. I could do a party. I have a successful brunch party. Listen, the 3rd Saturday of every month. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh yeah, I know, Malika. I see it. Specialty. Malika's watching from YouTube. It's specialty. Malika, what's in your specialty? So I can tell the doctor. I'm sure if y'all talk, y'all definitely do that. Y'all talk about that. I do a brunch party the 3rd Saturday of the month because people needed it. They wanted some, and you know, that's why I was talking about stress earlier. We could talk about that if Fred wants to come on and talk about stress one day, or Doc, you could talk about it again. The thing is that people looking for a woosah. Crime is up, inflation, gas prices, everything. The world, Trump talking about running again, like all kind of shit makes you stressed out. Crime. Let me tell you something. Wednesday, I'm sure Kevin and I, Chuck or whomever, will talk about this. Domestic violence. Woman got stabbed, like I think 18 times by her ex, and they in Philly, and she already had a order of protection against him, and he still happened. I just got a call today about a domestic violence situation, but I was like, "Yo, do more homework," because before I start trying to connect dots on things, I don't want my people to get involved in stuff that the information is not pure. And when I say pure, listen, it's a cluster, and so just come back with more information. Yeah, Fred, please. I would love for you to, Fred, if you ever want the last Friday of the month, if you and Marilyn, I know you two are busy and y'all been together 1,000 years, and I appreciate it. But Fred, I have the last Monday of the month open, and I'm looking for somebody. If you want that, Fred Quarter, it is yours. Just let me know. Thank you all for chiming in. It's not over yet. We got a few more minutes with the doctor. And please, if you ever have questions or comments and you want me to ask the doctor, yo, listen, she real. She keep it 100 all the time. That's my cousin. I love her. I appreciate her.
Love you back.
I can't believe it's already a year we've been doing this. So from a podcast standpoint, for me to get a memory to state that she has come, and all of you know, please give the hearts up for the doctor. She's giving you knowledge that you got to wait and ask your personal doctor. And you can't sit and listen. For all of us that have probably the similar health care, and doctor, you maybe can elaborate on this. Depending on where you are, the doctors only have maybe like a 15-minute window to work with you because they have a certain amount of patients that they have to see in a scheduled day. Now the doctor has her own practice, but maybe she still may follow that code of ethics. And the thing is, please understand that. So you have a doctor here in this hour, and she's only an hour. Everybody else, when we go for September, we go to 2 hours, Kevin and I, other people. But I only ask the doctor to give me an hour strong. Because when I come to her show, she only wants an hour strong. So I give her an hour strong because I know her time is very precious. What we talk about when we haven't forced the time is our business. That's family time. We can talk anytime we want. But during this time, it's all about her. And Stefania said, Dr. Corder is the best. You damn right. Lucky said, syrup of Father John Black draw laxative. Thank you, Lorraine.
Oh, yes. Black strap. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Stefania says, see, that's why I go in with my questions written down and I take notes. They always think I'm a nurse. Absolutely. You have to. So, Doc.
That's right.
we're coming up on September, which is school season. I know you definitely deal with the pediatrics and stuff like that, but I'm sure whatever you could tell the pediatrics, the parents for their children, is probably going to equate to grandparents and just people in general about, like I said, germs, passing of hygiene. Whatever you want to do, I'm gonna let you rock out on your last few minutes, and you can just say whatever you want to say, and just give them the business on anything you want to say.
So teach them, make sure they have the little wipes in their pockets. These are your children, the tissues, that they blow their nose, etc. And make sure that they wash their hands. Some people say, well, they don't have soap in the bathroom. Well, you can always have the hand sanitizer, but you want to make sure that they stay as clean and as germ-free as possible. When they get home, have them wash their hands. You may have a newborn at the house, etc. So before they start touching and kissing, etc., making sure that they are least germed. Become a germophobia. I guess in the beginning of COVID, 2 or 3 of my friends were germophobic. And I told them what they need to do is teach a class and teach a class of how to avoid germs. But in all jokes aside, you want to try to make sure that they're aware. You want to have a thermometer. You want to make sure that you follow their symptoms. Many of the schools have the email update. So if someone is positive in their class or a family member is positive from a student in their class, you're going to jump on it and get tested, not just for COVID, but other things, strep throat, different things, impetigo. Now, impetigo is also a skin-to-skin infection, staph infection. So we see that quite a bit, hand, foot, mouth. There are different illnesses and viruses that we see that spreads rapidly in close quarters. And let me just say this, parents, when in doubt and you're not sure what's going on, keep your child home. If you hear that something's going on in the school, keep your child home. I know that may mean, a missed day of work or what have you, or you can't do your Zoom meetings. Have your backup, have your people, have your, plan A and plan B. Often it's a grandparent, but if they're not around and not convenient, have your godparent or whoever as a backup, because often you're going to use those avenues for that child and even for the teenagers, etc. So, and just monitor that. Speaking of teenagers, many a time they don't tell you how they're sick or how sick they are. And next thing you know, they're real sick. So when they start telling you their sore throat is hurting or wherever, or they have a headache, pay attention and definitely follow up with your PCP, your primary care doctor, the urgent care, etc. So that's my words, because the next time I'm on, school would have started. Now it may stop and start, but school would have started. And for those who have children who go to school and the masks are optional, get some cute little mask and tell your child they may be optional for those other children, but your butt gonna wear the mask.
Yeah.
So final word. I'm dropping the mic.
Absolutely. Listen, shout out to everybody that's chiming in. Fred also said, perhaps we can talk, do a topic on mental health from infants to adults. Fred, because whatever you want to talk about, if you want the 29th, I know I ain't trying to lock you in. I will try to lock you in another time. But if you want the 29th of this month and talk about that, you're more than welcome. Let me know. I just asked you out there in public, because bottom line is mental illness is great. And from a detective standpoint, a law enforcement standpoint, I want to talk about, I think you and I had some banter with that in lieu of, not everybody crazy, act like everybody can claim crazy, but not everybody crazy. So I would love from you to give from a clinical standpoint and talk about the mental illnesses of infants until adults, because some people are neglecting the signs, and we need to watch those signs. And the thing is right now, because I think, I'm old school. Excuse me all if I offend you with this. Sometimes an ass whipping makes it all right. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it is a different energy. And I think I think from a medical profession, we can see the thing. Because let's talk about people stabbing people 18, 19 times. That's an illness. It is. Stalking and things of that magnitude. Where does it start? From people being spoiled, and now they're just used to getting what they want when they want it. Sometimes we are all selfish creatures, but let's not get it twisted. There is a thing by mental illness, and maybe the doctors can elaborate on that. This is real talk. And that's Dr. Marilyn Quarter, and I'm Bill Forster. What's up, Terrence? I see you. Doc, I appreciate you. Give us some positive affirmation on the way out of here. I know you're about to go. You want to go. Hope to see you real soon. I mean, I know this COVID and stuff it's got us all on our heels, but maybe I could throw a burger on the grill for you. You know what I'm saying, or something, or we can come out to the ranch and let Malika pet a horse. I'm not messing with them crazy dogs y'all got.
We got everything now. We got chickens. We got everything. We ready. We ready for whatever's coming across.
And listen, and Fred, I'm not mowing any lawns. The last time I spoke to you out there, you talking about you was mowing lawns. That's your exercise. That's all right. I go to LA Fitness or New York Sports Club. I'll walk. You know what I'm saying? Cuz I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care. Peace and blessings in all of the villages. Until next month, please stay safe.
Tell them where they can hear you. Tell them where they can hear you if they want to catch you every Saturday. I gotta give you that. Okay. I gotta blow you up. You know.
Well, that's it's talk about years. It's like over 25 years. I do radio. I have my own show, Kathy Hughes Radio 1 here in the DMV. Well, you can hear it everywhere, but it's WOL 1450 AM or 95.6 FM, and it's Dr. Quarter Show. So. It's WOL News DC, and it's every Saturday live from 3 to 4. Sometimes I have your host, Bill Foster, as I call him my law enforcement expertise, and just sometimes just information, and they love having him here. I think he thinks it's his show when he's on.
Yeah, I do.
It's all good. It's all good. I love it. That's when I can sit back and like, well, he's got the show. I don't have to say anything except we'll be right back for commercial break.
And cuz, listen, if next time you have me on, I'm going to give you the psychological aspect of why officers are acting the way they are in such a passive a position in lieu of how officers were when I was working. So that's something that we could talk about because it's still changing. And this is a real talk moment, everybody. Hold the presses. Fred Quarter has confirmed for the 29th. He said he's going to come on and talk about, let me get back with what he said, the topic of mental illness from infant to adult. So you're going to get a double dose of quarters this month, everybody. So sit down. And we're going to talk about mental illness. I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you so much. Cuz I love you all. Sure, we'll talk sidebar. Oh, Malika said she gives fresh ginger, a dash of apple cider vinegar, agave, and lots of love. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Malika, for taking care of my cousin. Thank you, Malika.
Absolutely. Everybody, that's Dr. Quarter. Cuz I'm going to give him some public service announcements, then we out of here. So go ahead. You do you. I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Everybody, that was Dr. Marilyn Quarter. I appreciate all that. So we got it confirmed right now. Fred, her husband, who's a world-renowned doctor too, will be on the 29th. That's good because I don't have to look for something to do for the 29th, unless I was going to come and chop it up with you myself. But I'm glad that I can bring a plethora of information to you. Let me tell you something. I love talking to my cousin Fred too, because he brings it. He brings it too. You know what the show is sponsored by? It's sponsored by Daily Arts and Survival Magazine, Ingram Taxes, Reggie Wells Quality Speakers, Soft Illusions, Melba Wilson, Leon Ellis, Chocolat Restaurant, Harlem Underground. Yes, excuse me, Stefania, a double dose of the quarters. I'm feeling that. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Colin. Thank you for the great show. Listen, share it. Please, just share it so people can get a dose of what's going on. Thank you, Darylyn. Thank you for the YouTubers. Listen, I'm just going to say this again, back to that monkeypox thing. Due to the doctor's profession, her position, and her credentials, she did not want to speak out knowingly without being accurate. Speculating, assumptions, and facts are a whole different game. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between the one line that's from 125th Street to 145th and 137th. on the 1 train. That's my line. There's a bunch of different stops, right? So the bottom line is we had to make sure I buffered that. It's real talk. So the bottom line is she's not going to put her credentials on the line just on speculative assumptions. So I appreciate you all for respecting that, but I wanted to make sure that she is. See, I'm retired. People always say, Bill, you need to run for this, you need to do that. You're right. But you know what? When you're in my position and I can say what I want to say, and all the smoke comes this way, it's good. When you're somebody that's still out there serving the front line, the community and stuff like that, positions are not compromisable. You don't want to compromise those positions. So that's why when she comes back, you see she speaks on COVID. She speaks on anything else. Because data, boom, 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 boom. We all come from a world of facts. Monkeypox is still, it's a juggle situation. So she did not want to go too deep into it. And we have to respect that. Because if you go back and listen to the show, she gave you some knowledge. She gave you some food. Now, if you ain't hungry, then don't eat. Otherwise than that, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, Dr. Carter is the best. Yeah. Well, I'll be at Row House, Colin. You know that. Trust me. Shameless plug, the 3rd Saturday of the month, off the chain. Hey, Colin, ask Stefania if she coming out. She been coming for months and ain't never show up. Mask up, Stefania. Come on. Everybody, I'm your host, Bill Forster. That was Real Talk with Dr. Marilyn Quarter. The first Monday of the month, Assemblyman Al Taylor. We had, go back and look at YouTube and go back and look at the shows. We had Cordell's Claire on. We had another Assemblyman, Al Taylor, and then they brought the smoke. The second Monday of the month, Dr. Marilyn Quarter. You got the info. The third Monday of the month, we have Allison Williams. I'll be throwing some specials in there, some special editions. Who knows who I'll be talking to on special editions, depending on the topic and the people. Malika and I might be just chiming in. But the fourth month, we have Allison, the third Monday of the month, Allison Williams. And the fourth Monday of the month, you got a dose of the quarters. Dr. Fred Quarter will be in talking about mental illness from infants to adults. I got some questions to ask him because a lot of times people are taking advantage of this mental illness program. So I'm happy that my cousin will be chiming in with it. I know, Colin. I know that was meant. Colin, she said, I was planning to buy my aunt passed away today, so I don't know. Got to see where the services are. Stefania, condolences to your family. Your aunt passed away. Prayers doing to your family for this difficult time of transition. Everybody, that was Dr. Marilyn Quarter. I am Bill Forster. See you Wednesday. What you want to talk about, just inbox me, text me. You know how to reach your boy. I'm out. Appreciate you. RTC family. 1.